What's weird to me is Satan. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
So people have been asking us to do a little video about the Aquaman suit. My initial thoughts. It looks cool. I wish there was more color to it. Because Aquaman has like the yellow shirt, the green and stuff. And they kind of just went like Viking status on him, which makes sense.
He looks kind of like a Maori warrior or some kind.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be a merman.
I mean, which is cool. It's just way different.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about whatever this guy's name is, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa, I know I've seen him before.
He's in Conan. He took over for Arnold. He's in Game of Thrones, and he was in Bullet to the Head. I don't find him to be the greatest of actors.
Okay.
He's charming, sure. I mean, the last thing I've seen some of Game of Thrones, and the last thing I saw him in was fucking Conan, and I thought he was pretty bad.
To act well in a Conan movie.
You should try at least.
You need to act well.
I just didn't really buy him. I mean, he's got the perfect build for it.
Does he though? Like, I don't know. I guess I never associated Aquaman with being like fucking ripped.
Yeah, Aquaman looks
giant because this dude looks big. Like Aquaman was muscular, but he didn't look like a big dude.
He was like a white dude.
I would never cast The Rock as, and this guy looks like he's got a build like The Rock, just less shoulder muscle.
Just normally just some like white dude who like short blonde hair or some shit.
Yeah, just like some generic looking white dude. I'm not saying he should be a white dude. I'm just saying like this guy is giant. Like
I'm just wondering how, because he's supposed to appear in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Right? Like every other fucking superhero. And because I hear he's one of the original founders of the Justice League. So it makes sense for Aquaman to at least make an appearance. If you want to just talk about the suit I feel it's a little weird to me because
it doesn't look like he's wearing a suit. If you go back down to that picture, it looks like that's his chest. Like it looks like that's his chest and he's got like this strap thing on. That's armor, and this stuff just all looks like tribal tattoos almost.
And I guess it's a little green around the forearms.
Yeah.
And his right shoulder might be just his body.
Just like tribal tattoos.
And Aquaman could be cool if pulled off perfectly because there's a whole Aquaman world. There's an Aquaman family.
Anything can be cool if it's perfect.
True. That's a smart statement I made.
When they do the whole New 52 thing for DC, I heard a lot of people saying like, oh, they actually made the Aquaman comics really cool because they kind of took into account the fact that people laugh about Aquaman now and built that into the story. So like Aquaman, at least in the first issue, is constantly running into people who just aren't taking him seriously.
Yeah. But this looks like a really serious, dark interpretation just off this photo of Aquaman. What's weird to me is you see Superman suit in Man of Steel. Looks cool. Looks like a Superman suit. It's darker, but it looks like a Superman suit. And then you see Batman, and it's like Dark Knight Returns inspired. And then you see Wonder Woman, and I'm like, yeah, it looks enough like Wonder Woman. Then you see this suit, and you're like, this doesn't look like anything I've seen of Aquaman.
I just love Aquaman.
I don't know if this is from the new updated Aquaman or something, but he looks like fucking, what's Ariel's dad's name?
Oh, Triton.
You're right, yeah, that's who he looks like right there.
Yeah, no, he does look like Triton a little bit.
The photo itself, it doesn't have me worried. I mean, I'm sure it'll fit into their universe somehow. But
yeah, I'm sure they'll make it work. I'm just a little bit like, oh, interesting.
I feel like Zack Snyder sometimes needs a co-director.
Like, I feel like Zack Snyder gets so excited about the story, but then he forgets to keep working on it. Mm-hmm. It's like once he's got a cool idea and it's like written out, he's like, okay, no, we gotta get this stuff, and like we gotta get in the room, we gotta make the set, and then we gotta shoot it.
He knows how to capture comic book worlds, and his visuals are always awesome. And from my understanding, I've avoided the footage because I want to see like good quality footage. But I've heard like Batman has like the white eyes, and it looks really cool so far.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's gonna deliver on the visual aspect, but for him to take over like Justice League in total is kind of a bummer to me.
When they said, oh, Zack Snyder, he's gonna do Justice League too, I was like, well, I mean, I'm sure he'll do a fine job. Like, It's like Peter Jackson returning to The Hobbit, except I hope these results are better. It's like, well, I mean, I've seen him do this before, so okay, cool. I would have liked to have seen a different filmmaker to make it interesting, but
yeah, it's like I feel like it's one thing to keep it in the same universe, but then to keep them all kind of looking the same is another situation, you know? Like that's what made Avengers work. They always get different directors for Marvel films, and then they got Joss Whedon for Avengers.
Yeah,
because they all had different flares. But Zack Snyder, like, I don't know how Man of Steel 2 is being shot. I don't know if it's gonna be all handheld again. But
Probably, exactly.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But I mean, he doesn't really do handheld a lot until Man of Steel.
I wouldn't be surprised if Man of Steel carried on that visual flair, and maybe Justice League would be different. Like maybe he will make them two different movies. Because
That's
Man
what
of
I'm hoping
Steel
for.
3 will probably happen.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping that he does provide that. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping this Aquaman cameo and Wonder Woman cameo goes over well. I'm really hoping it goes
Yeah,
over well.
I really hope this is meant to be how that script is, and not just like, oh, fuck, we gotta get our Justice League off the ground. Just put shit in Man of
Yeah.
Steel. That's all we got right now.
It's like they're not understanding build-up. They're like, all people want is Batman and Superman, but no one really knows the other Justice League characters. So let's just make Justice League and introduce them there.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, I guess you can't copy Marvel, but it's like, you know, before Iron Man came out, not a lot of people knew about Iron Man comics who didn't otherwise, you know, read them and invest in the Marvel universe.
They might have known like basic information.
Yeah, it's like Batman and Superman are two characters where it's like everybody knows those guys, like regardless of whether you've read a comic book or not. Some of these characters are a little less known in the canon. It's like, totally make their own story. Because, you know, it's like when they came out with Iron Man, a lot of people who weren't comic book savvy were like, I don't know, but this is rad.
Same thing with
and
Thor.
then Thor, yeah, is like, I don't know, but this is rad. And even Captain America, it's like, you know, a lot more people know who Captain America is than know what his story's about.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would behoove you to just actually make these movies.
Yeah,
Do it the Marvel way.
I would prefer it if it was like, yeah, they get individual movies then team up, because it's not as exciting if we're introducing them like it's exciting, sure, but at the same time, it's like I would like to have seen fully fleshed out characters first, have their own movies, and then see those characters come together.
Yeah.
Not create them for Justice League.
Yeah, and I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of nice just to have a small sequence of things to look forward to, because the Marvel Universe is staggering, and to have two of those would be a little unmanageable maybe, but at the same time, it almost feels like when, like, the really cool big thing comes out, and then, like, for Christmas, you get, like, the slightly more knockoff version, where you're like, oh, cool, it's a giant sort of team of superhero franchise, except it's only these 3 movies right now. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Well, yeah, fuck it.
I don't know. I mean, it seems
We
like
can't
DC...
do anything about it, so...
It seems like DC's figured out TV a lot more than they've figured out.
Yeah, they got their TV universes down really well.
People love their TV shows.
Yeah, their TV shows are fucking awesome. Yeah. Like that, it's great, and they know how to introduce other characters from the DC world too. Like I heard Ra's al Ghul just appeared in Arrow or The Flash, can't remember which one, but
Or Gotham.
and the Joker, and it just appeared in Gotham. I mean, Gotham's the most like split audience one I've seen though. Like,
Is it?
Yeah, like amongst fans, amongst critics, it's really good, but amongst fans, there's a big split decision on how they feel about it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, those. It seems like those shows always take a season or two for people to get on board. Because when Arrow came out, everyone was like, "What is this?" And now everyone's like, "Fucking Arrow! Gotta see it! Go watch the new episode." People seem to like flash off the bat, but yeah, like Arrow and Gotham, I feel like would be similar that way.
Oh, totally.
Especially because, like, if you make a Flash show, people are just going to be like, is this going to work? And then they see it and they're like, oh, cool. Whereas Batman, Gotham, like, there's so many expectations. You're going to have to win people, not just impress them a little.
And they fuck with a lot of storyline in Gotham because it's like they're taking place at such a specific time in Gordon's life, but then people want to tune in for the Batman aspect, so they're like introducing these villains.
Isn't he like 6 years old?
Yeah, he's like 6 years old, and then they got these villains who are like 10 years older than him, and Catwoman's even older than him. And they might have been copying Marvel a little too much if they integrated their TV shows with the movies. I'm sure Man of Steel 2 will be badass in its own ways. It's Batman versus Superman, and I don't want any fucking distractions from other characters. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked up. Other Batman characters? Sure. Suicide Squad? Introductions? Sure. Because it's the Batman world, and it's the Superman world. But then you throw in these other worlds and have them make cameos. And it looks like the cameos are not like a post-credit sting. It sounds like they're going to be making cameos. I have my concerns.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I feel like a Superman movie is probably a better place to introduce characters like these than maybe a Batman movie is. Just because, like, the Superman world always feels a bit more fantastical to me for some reason. It's like, I don't know, there's something about having your central hero being superhuman, whereas Batman, the kind of point is like, he's just a guy with a lot of technology and some great detective skills.
But I read The Dark Knight Returns, so if they honor how Superman and Batman fought each other, it'll be cool.
Then I want them to make the movie where Superman fights Cassius Clay, like, on the sun or whatever. You see that old comic book that's so famous where, like, Superman and Cassius Clay have a boxing match?
Yeah.
And, like, they go somewhere where their powers are matched. They
Yeah.
fight on Krypton. That's right. I think Muhammad Ali wins.
Yeah, and they should do Batman versus Predator. They tried
I have some of those comics.
They tried making something of
Isn't
it.
that-
Oh, they did a short film with Batman versus
yeah, there you
Predator
go.
versus Alien, or it's Alien versus Predator, and Batman just somehow gets caught in the center of it.
I have some comics that are versus Predator, and I don't know what they are. They might just be aliens. I think they did Terminator versus Predator too. Yeah,
They should start doing that
they
shit.
should just cross over everything.
Yeah, movie studios should just go bananas and just
Yeah.
fucking like go all out with their crossovers.
Then Robert Rodriguez and Neil Blomkamp have to team up for new aliens versus new predators.
Yeah, and then they should throw in Antonio Banderas there as El Mariachi.
Yeah, just collide so many worlds.
Yeah, and then Neo from The Matrix, and then Colin Farrell from Phone Booth,
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga,
Just,
and then Cuba Gooding Jr. from Jerry Maguire.
yeah, this is
It's
gonna,
like
totally gonna
not
be-
have it make any sense.
Jack Nicholson from Wag the Dog.
He's not in Wag the Dog.
Yeah, he's totally in Wag the Dog.
That's Robert De Niro and Dustin
Are
Hoffman.
you sure?
Wag the Dog?
Oh, as good as it gets then.
As good as it gets,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
Which is Jack Nicholson being Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they should have like Al Pacino, De Niro, Pesci, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta,
Yeah, this would be good films.
and Christopher Walken and Nicholson.
Yeah.
All being a superhero film. They should play the older version of the Justice League. You know what I think they should do? They should get Tyrone Magnus to play Aquaman.
I would watch that movie.
I would watch it too.
Yeah. Well, because there are no rules, like there are no rules dictating that Aquaman has to be a white dude. So yeah, like please.
Yeah.
Oh, there are a lot of white dudes superheroes. Like let's be real, there are a lot of white dude superheroes that don't need to be white dudes.
Well, I hear they might be going with Miles for Spider-Man. So.
Which would be great. Fucking do it finally. Like make us worth our while.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
And mentioning this photo was out.
Yeah.
If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Jerry has a show on this channel called Reasons to Jerry. Check that shit out, doggy.
We could have a whole video about who could play Peter Parker if he wasn't just Peter Parker.
I'm telling you, Al Pacino. With great power comes great responsibility.
I want to see your Spider-Man movie where Al Pacino plays Uncle Ben.
No, I think Robert De Niro will play Uncle Ben.
So Ben Stiller is Spider-Man. This is Meet the Parents.